All right, maybe we won't wait till your mom leaves. I'm just bugging you. It's okay. That's okay. I was just telling Colin some advice that Jack just gave him. Jack Mattingly gave some advice to Colin, and he said, never play the Hub. It's run by vampires. I said, yeah, but they're Detroit vampires, though. He said they suck motor oil instead of blood. I know. So now Jack's 86 again from the Hub. Did you hear the story about how he was 86? Yeah.
Like, no way. You were never 86.
I thought he told us on the podcast, but then I realized I had paused it. He said, you have to pause it. Then he told us the story, and then we came back on. So, but this one's live. You're 86, Jack.
That's what, Jack.
How's it going, Colin?
Going good.
Good. Now, remind me, what is your musician name again?
Rybbon.
Rybbon.
Or people always pronounce it as Rybbon because it's spelled with a Y.
Oh, Rybbon.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, so what's the story of that name?
So basically, how I get like every single one of my names is I'll just kind of look at something and be like, I'll just switch around the vowels and make something out of that. And
Yeah.
I was sitting on my chair in my room, like at my desk, and I look over. I was like thinking of a name for at first it was going to be a gaming YouTube channel, which didn't work out.
Oh, okay. And how old were you at this time?
At this, I think I was around 12. 13.
And right now you're?
I'm 16 right now.
Right, so 3 long years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 years ago. So far in the past. I was just sitting at my desk and I was trying to think of a name for just all my stuff. I wanted to name like my music and my
on all the platforms.
On all the platforms.
And all
yeah. So I look over at this little tack board I had because at this time I was at a loft bed, and under there was a desk and there was like a tack board on it, and there was a ribbon for a science fair competition thing that I won. I don't remember what it was, but it was on there.
Okay.
So I was like, oh yeah, I'll just use that. I'll just switch around the vowels and make it look different. And surprisingly, it wasn't taken.
That's awesome.
But at the same time, with every single name that I've ever chosen for myself, it ends up being this kind of thing where when someone asks me like, what's the name of your music and stuff, I'll say it, and then just because I've been hearing it and saying it so much, I kind of say it, and I'm like, it's kind of a dumb name, like I don't like it that much, and then I'll say it because it's kind of like at first you're like, this is going to be such a cool name, and then when you're finally asked it, you're like, oh, I'm going to get judged because of this because it's such a weird name.
So maybe like at first, like written down or typed out, you're like, yes, but then when you say it.
Well, yeah, when I say it, because then I'll say like, I have to explain that it's with a Y instead of an I. And I'll be like, oh yeah, just look up on Spotify, look up Rybbon, and they're like, okay, that's pretty easy. And then they're like,
they can't find it.
Couldn't find you. I was like, oh, I forgot to mention spelled with a Y.
Oh, see, I'm a teacher, and I get that all the time. Oh no, Miss Reagan, if there's a Y instead of an I or something like that, and it's not gonna lie, it's a little frustrating, but you get used to it. Yeah. Your mom just left. I was gonna ask her what she was doing when she was 16, because personally, I wasn't doing anything when I was 16. I mean, I played some sports. I played softball and I played video games with my friends, and I did get my license right away. You just got your license.
I just got my license, yeah.
So you have your license and you're a musician, and you've been on Spotify for a couple years?
About 2 years now. First album actually, I had other aliases I went by before Rybbon.
Oh, you did?
And one of those, I had released my first song back in, I think around late 2019, early 2020.
Okay.
So about like 3 years.
So did this all come out of COVID? Because you just said early 2020.
It started right before COVID hit. So,
so it wasn't because you were trapped in your house.
It was before, because I was messing around with GarageBand on my phone. Okay. And that was back when I was in like very start of 7th grade, maybe end of 6th grade, maybe the summer between those two grades.
And is that like a music making app?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
For iPhone.
Okay.
I was using that. I would make, like, using the loops. None of the stuff I made was original. It was all loops that I found on there. Right. And I had released stuff on SoundCloud.
Cool.
And I've had like multiple different name changes, and still today I have so many different side projects. It's hard to keep track of them all. Each week is a different album under a different name.
That reminds me of this podcast. It's called Skagit Storytellers, but every time I do an episode, there's a different like sub name for it.
Yeah.
Like the airport ones are called the Vaudeville Summer Camp Series.
Mm-hmm.
The ones recorded upstairs are Pouring Concrete.
Yeah.
And then we have the ones at my house, which I'm not really sure what I want to call those, but yeah, different name for everything. I was going to say though, so then Rybbon might not be. Is Rybbon going to be your name for your show in 2 weeks?
Yes, it will be.
Okay.
So, because that's the one I mainly will go by. If not that, I'll just go by my first and last name.
Yeah.
Which I just released an album that was under just my first and last name. And since I couldn't release that with the distributor I used to get my music on Spotify, I couldn't release under a different name. So I just had it released under the Rybbon name.
Oh.
But it's meant to be released under just my first and last name. That's what it shows up like on Bandcamp and that kind of thing.
I think when I looked for your stuff, I think I found everything if I just put in, is it Akers? How you pronounce it?
Akers.
I think I put in Colin Akers and it came up. A-C-K?
A-K-E-R-S.
A-K-E-R-S. I think I put that in and then everything came up. So we'll put a link in the description.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have your first live show on Friday at the Hub.
Yep.
How did that happen?
So really it wasn't like, my dad was just kind of, instead of being like, do you want to play live? He came up to me and he's like, you're going to play live.
Because he knows you want to.
Yeah.
And he knows you can.
At first I was like, all right, when is this? And luckily he's like, March 3rd, and he told me this would be like late January. So I'm like, okay, I just have time to prepare.
Yes.
Instead of like it being the weekend of like
Yeah.
the time I was told.
And you're not headlining.
I'm not headlining, I'm just the opener.
Who are you opening for?
Pretty much nothing.
Right. Miguel, Spencer, and Gibson.
Yeah. I
Their
think so.
band. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we saw them play, your parents and I went to see them play at the Rockport.
Nice.
Well, Saturday night. Yeah, they were really good. I really liked them. And they actually played a few covers, and I didn't realize it because they kind of put their own spin on it,
Yeah.
which I like. I like when they don't copy it exactly. Okay, so you're going to be at the Hub, which is across the street from where we're recording right now. One of the many buildings that your parents own.
Yeah, they're soon going to own the whole town.
They will. I think it'd be fun if you did an outdoor show at the Silos.
That would be really cool, yeah. I was talking to my dad about it, and I told him, like, we need to set up some kind of, like, just live event, like, where there's, like, 20 different bands, like Coachella, but at Concrete, like that kind of thing.
The Silo Festival.
Yeah, like a music festival. That's the word I was looking for.
I love it.
But, yeah.
Were you here when the band played on the roof of the Hub?
I was up there with them.
Were you up there?
Yeah.
I was going to say, let's up the ante. Can we get the instruments on the top of the Silos?
That would be crazy.
But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be...
Yeah.
It's going to be...
Drop a guitar pick and that thing's gone. You're not getting that back.
Someone died. How? Well, a guitar pick fell.
Yeah.
It picks at speed, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, so your show is on next in a couple of Fridays, and just a reminder that the Hub Tavern does allow people under 21.
Yes.
I hate saying kids
Yeah.
because you're 16.
Teens.
You're not really a kid. My child will be there. She's 10, but she's a cool 10.
Cool 10-year-old.
So do you think you'll get a bunch of friends out? Are they already talking about it?
At the moment, I have 5 friends working up right now.
Nice.
And hopefully we can get some other friends that could possibly be able to come up here.
Well, how many friends have licenses?
I have 2 friends that have licenses.
Okay.
And brother and sister. They're going to drive up here by themselves. And then I'm taking about, I think, 2 or 3 friends in my dad's car. So,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. If you have 4 more, I'll drive down there, pick them up. I don't mind. My only concern is, are they going to drive, because they're probably going to stay for pretty much nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to drive home after? Are you going to have a little, like, 20 kids sleeping in the apartment upstairs?
I mean, there is a lot of space up there. There's like a couch that can fit like 2 people. There's 2 beds up there.
True.
And then there's the beds out in the living room.
Yeah.
And
There's the big couch at the Hub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also the spare room up there. It's like a small little hallway looking room.
That's true. How many of your friends have been here?
Almost all my friends except for like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I have one of my friends, Noah, who also makes music, comes up here with me sometimes, and we'll every single time we've come up here, we have recorded some kind of paranormal video.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Was he the guy in your Welcome to Uju video?
Oh yeah, going to Uju.
Or going to
Space,
Uju?
yeah. That actually has a really long story behind it. So,
yeah, where'd that come from?
So basically what happened was my friend Noah, he's really into K-pop. So
Okay.
he's like, he like wants to make like pop music.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want to write like I want to write a pop song.
Mhm.
So we were brainstorming lyrics, and what he wanted to do was have a song where he talked about going to space. And
Do you know what that is?
I think that's space in Korean.
No, that's Uju.
Yeah, it's
Uju.
My friend writes that on like every single
Does he?
paper, every single time.
So that will be his first tattoo, is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
Obviously.
Everything, as
Actually,
you can see, becomes a tattoo.
yeah, he's gonna get a tattoo like right on his arm, like tattooed across his face, just to let everyone know.
All right, sorry, I interrupted you.
But so yeah, we were thinking of writing a pop song. He was thinking of writing a pop song, and was like, I need an instrumental for this. So I made the instrumental in the song.
Okay.
And that instrumental was like one of the first times I'd ever made music for someone else to use.
Oh, okay.
I haven't. That's kind of the only time I've ever done that. Is mainly with Noah, because from what he says as his point of view is that he's not good at producing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he can do drums, like he can produce like a drum beat, but he has a lot of trouble producing melodies and stuff.
Got it.
So I usually get that. I do that, and I send him over like a file. So I sent him over the file for Space, and at the time we were both just starting out making music. So
Mhm.
what I had made was this like this beat that just looped over and over again, and he kind of just added his lyrics to it, which were the beautiful lyrics, or the most like deep lyrics ever, which is going to Uju, all the way to outer space.
Now, I've seen the YouTube video. Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
also on Spotify?
Yeah, the song's on Spotify too.
Is it called Space?
It's Space, yeah. Dubs 101 is the name that it goes by.
Oh.
And the music video too. There's a scene in it that you can see me running down my road at my house, and I throw off my jacket, and that was mainly just a test to see, like, I was like, I want to see what this would look like, because if I were ever to make a music video, I want to like maybe do this. And it wasn't meant to be put in the video, but he put it in the video, and now every single time that video played, my dad shows it to everyone he meets.
Oh,
He's
I've
like,
seen it 3 times.
yeah, he shows it to everyone he meets. Like, does not want to let that video go.
That's so awesome.
So every single time that he plays that video, I need to walk out of the room, because I have short hair, because now I have long hair.
Yeah.
And just the way I looked with short hair, and when I was younger, it's like I looked really dumb in that scene, and I'm kind of just like, all right, just take out that scene, please. But yeah, it's just kind of like.
But I mean, putting yourself out there when you're 13, 14, 15, whatever,
Yeah.
like you're always gonna have moments where you say,
Yeah.
"Oh, that was bad. Don't
Especially
look
like
at
my
that."
old music, because I used to think I was making which is a genre called vaporwave, which is basically just
Vaporwave?
Vaporwave,
Okay.
yeah. And it's like basically slowed down samples and stuff, where you like chop up like old songs from like the 80s and 90s. It's like this huge thing, and that's what
Old
I thought.
songs from the 90s.
Yes, basically. Like,
Sorry, those classics.
those classics, those good old classics. No, you take like pop music from like the 80s and 90s.
Mhm.
A lot of it's like.
Like, what's an
Japanese pop.
example? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like you take like city pop, Japanese pop,
Okay.
and you just kind of slow it down or like chop it up, and that would be vaporwave. And I thought that's what I was making when I first started making music, but there was 0 samples used in any of those songs.
Oh, okay.
But I still listed it as vaporwave, even though it was like dubstep.
Yeah.
And I thought it's so funny going back.
But did
and
anyone go up to you and
listening to
say, "Idiot, that's not vaporwave. This is dub"? Like, does anyone call you on it?
Well, all that stuff, all the albums I made, those are all deleted now. 'Cause
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
I can't stand these things. I'm gonna delete them all. But
Next time, just archive them. Don't delete them.
I have them archived in my phone, but I deleted them
Okay.
from like the internet.
Oh, okay. Because I was
And,
going to say, your dad today was talking to someone about all the stuff that was just shoved in every crevice in these buildings,
Yeah,
and
there's stuff
how
everywhere.
the instinct is to just toss it, right?
Mhm.
But then when he was going through it, like, he found that photo journal of this boy's life.
Yeah.
You know, and he found a picture of Leonardo DiCaprio outside with, who is the other actor? Dustin Hoffman?
I don't remember.
Anyway, the 2 actors, like, standing outside this store like smiling at each other, that could have been thrown away,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Preserve now.
yes. So don't delete stuff. Just preserve it. Is this, yeah?
Oh yeah, that's it right there.
Okay. I was going to
But-
say, but
yeah.
what?
The cover was so the fun fact about the cover too. It's a drawing of the person like flying. Well, I guess flying through space. I don't really
Okay.
know what it is. That came to be because I had I remember this vividly, but what happened was my room was a disaster. Like my room was messy, and I really wanted a drawing tablet. And I was like, my parents were like, if you clean your entire room,
We'll
make
get
it look spotless, we'll get you a $25 drawing tablet. That wasn't even,
$25?
it wasn't even meant for like.
Was it like an
drawing.
Etch-a-Sketch?
No, it was like the size of probably like a little bit bigger than my palm, and it was $25. It was meant for a video game.
Oh, okay.
So they got me this little drawing tablet, and I used it to draw that cover, and that was the first time I'd ever drawn anything on a computer.
Wow.
First time I've ever drawn anything. Just,
Dude, this is awesome.
well, nowadays, since I've been working with like art and stuff a lot more, like drawing, my art has gotten a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that cover is like the first thing I ever drew digitally.
Nice.
And looking back at it, I'm like, I just tell everyone that Noah drew it because I'm like, it's not the greatest art piece ever. It's not beautiful. There's like zero shading going on, and there's like a VHS font on the side.
No, but you know, there's a spot for stuff like this.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we could turn it up. I don't know if I have to pay Dubs
Oh,
more
yeah, I don't
one.
think you need it.
Okay, good.
I can get his permission. I'll just say permission's used in the podcast.
There you go.
He's probably gonna be excited about that.
Permission's right here.
He's gonna be like, yo, let's go. Now I gotta. Time for me to get on the podcast. I know he's gonna want to be on the podcast. Too. Like, time for me to get on that podcast. But, yeah, me and Noah have been friends since like 7th grade.
Yeah. Did you guys connect over music first, or?
At first, it was actually filmmaking.
Okay.
We were talking about like having YouTube channels and filming, and at the time, he was into like Deadmau5 and kind of like the EDM scene in music and stuff that I knew. And that's how we kind of like we were talking about that, because at the time I just got into like Death Grips and Aphex Twin and like Radiohead and all those bands.
I've heard of Radiohead.
Yeah. But I was just getting into those bands, and they're kind of like on the electronic side.
Yeah.
Maybe not Radiohead, not as much, but they're definitely like in the field.
I mean,
electronic.
obviously not Pablo Honey, but
Or,
like more
like
Kid A.
Like the bands wouldn't be considered electronic, but
Yeah.
if you were to like talk about like Kid A or King of Limbs, it's a different story.
So when you're sitting around the campfire, do you like break out some Radiohead songs?
Yeah, usually. Or
Yeah?
it's like the funny thing is that I kind of have zero sense in like knowing what to play at what time. So it could be like a really calm like people like looking at like the stars and stuff, and I'll just play like the most loudest, obnoxious song ever. And I'm fine with it. And everyone else is like, can we turn this off, please? And I'm like, no, it's like I'll play like I'm pretty sure the people who they're gonna listen to this are most likely gonna be my friends or people that know my music, but
No, there's millions of people listening to this. Go ahead, continue.
But I was gonna say like I would be out there, I'd be like looking up at like the sky, and like it'd be like really calm, and everyone's playing like this peaceful music, and then I'd pop in with like Death Grips or like let me think of a song that I would play.
What's it? Sorry, when you say Death Grips, I don't know what that means.
It's a band.
Oh, it's a band.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the music that they make is interesting. It's like it's like close to hip hop.
Okay.
But it's like also at the same time, it's like it's more like metal.
Okay.
It's hard to explain what kind of music it is, but they're really popular like in the industrial hip hop music scene.
I think the only sort of like when I think of different music that's sort of hardcore that I would never get into, but I actually kind of like the song of theirs. There's a Canadian band called Alexis on Fire.
Never heard of it.
Do you know them? So this guy just screams the whole time.
Wow.
They have a couple of tracks that I like the music part. I'm not a fan of the screaming. Well, one of the I don't want to say backup singer, not the lead singer. What would you call the other guy?
Like a background vocalist?
Yeah, kind of. Anyway, super like cool, like super tattooed up guy, just sings background vocals and plays the guitar. Well, he suddenly went solo, just is a folk singer now.
Wow.
And I'm listening to this guy going, oh, he's so good. His band name is The City and the Color. Oh, it's a cool band name. So I looked into him more, and someone said, do you know who that is? Yeah, it's the city and the color, but his name is Dallas Green, so Dallas City, green color. He's from Alexis on Fire. So he went from this scream rage band that's very popular, and I think they're pretty popular around the world, huge in Quebec, Montreal, and now he's just this like, Bob Dylan sounding folks. Yeah. I know, it's pretty cool. That's it's like there's a chance to completely change your career. Yeah. So I'm just saying, Colin, if you want to get into that's
actually my last album is just like that. The previous 3 albums I made were all like these electronic, like kind of more based around like all computer based stuff.
And no lyrics.
Because
I know that because I was doing a couple assignments. I'm taking some courses right now, and I actually put on your stuff, and I loved it because it doesn't distract me when I'm typing. Yeah.
But a lot of my songs, they don't have lyrics, and then for the album I just released, and the EP that I released before that, I added, the EP I released was still on that kind of like electronic music. I was still making electronic with that. There was just like a couple guitars in there, and then I added vocals to, I think, 3 out of the 4 songs. Okay. And for the new album, I just decided I'm going to go completely no computer. So the whole album is just guitars, and there's even some songs in there that have like a huge folk influence on them.
Oh, so, I wonder if that's why your dad was like encouraging you to go live now.
Yeah, because he heard. I remember he was listening to the album I just made, and he was like, you need to play these songs live, and I was like,
wait, that was a really good impression of Jeremy.
I've been living with him for about 16 years of my life, so I kind of know how to get his voice down. But yeah, so
he said you should do those songs.
Yeah, he was like, the problem with that is I tend to not write down the songs I make, so I kind of I'll record it, and then when someone's like, oh, can you play, for example, like my song After Image, can you play After Image? I'll pick up a guitar and spend like 3 minutes trying to find what I played because I didn't write it down anywhere.
You don't write anything down?
I should, because I'm like I always have the mindset of, when am I going to play this song live? And then
I'm never going to play live.
And then here we are playing live, and I want to figure out how to make these songs, replay these songs.
That's awesome.
I can't remember how. So
you're now writing them down.
Yeah, I started writing them down now, or what I'll do is I'll record like an audio clip of me saying what it is, like I'm on the third fret, 2nd string, and I'll play it, and then just like if it's like a chord progression, I'll do that. But
can you like play, I forget what it's called, where you can hear a song and just play it?
I actually did that for one of the songs I'm going to play live. I looked all over the internet for tabs, and there was 0 tabs for the song.
What song?
The song name's kind of weird, but the song name's called Sex at Arm's Length, but it's spelled C-E-X.
Got it.
But yeah, I was looking for the song, and I couldn't find the tabs anywhere. I was looking all over, so I had to just pull up the song, and then each note I would replay and find where it is.
Oh, wow.
And I had like a tab book, and I was writing down all the notes because I wanted to play it live, because that's one of the songs that I've been listening to a lot.
Yeah.
And another thing that is pretty cool about it is that I recently got that same album on vinyl for $9.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the artist isn't that like well known.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I was looking for the tabs, couldn't find them, so I had to do it myself.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that because you have to like play each. It's like keep pressing like the back button and like find the note, like being like it's like.
That, you know what that reminds me of? When I was younger and we would have cassette tapes, you'd record off the radio, and then what you would do is try to write the lyrics down because you want to sing it, right? But you don't have the cassette thing, so we have to stop it, rewind, write down some words, stop it, rewind. Yeah. I was going to say, so I discover music on Spotify, just Discover Weekly. Is that how you also?
Yeah. Yeah. Either that, or I'll make a playlist of a ton of songs I'm into at the moment, and then scroll down to the very bottom where it requests new songs.
Recommends, yeah.
Yeah. And another thing that I like to do is, this is one that I do a lot, is I'll go onto Bandcamp, and I'll sort by, I'll sort the location by, Seattle or Bellingham.
Okay.
And then you can just, sort by... best-selling and just find a ton of these artists that are really underground, like only 2 fans, and they're from your hometown. And
cool.
It's kind of nice doing that with my own record label too, because I can find artists from here and then be like, hey, do you want to release one of your albums on my label?
Yeah.
And what's happening soon is I got an artist, their name's DJ Roswell, and they're pretty popular.
Where are they from?
I can't remember where they're from, but they're not from Washington.
But somewhere in
somewhere in the U.S.
Okay, yeah.
And so at first I was like, I have to retrace myself, so I can't speak right now.
No, it's
But
okay.
I was going on a trip to, I don't remember where we went. I think we went to Long Beach. I don't remember if it was Long Beach here. But we went on this camping trip. And on the way there, I was listening to some of DJ Roswell's other band, which is called KFC Murder Chicks. And
That's a great band name.
yeah, and I saw that the member DJ Roswell, which is the member of that band, one of the members of that band, had their own solo stuff. So I went and listened to that, and there was this album I listened to called Sitcom.
Yeah.
And I listened to it and really liked it.
Yeah.
So later on, I start my record label, and I'm like, I gotta think of some small artists that I could contact. So I was like, I'm gonna contact DJ Roswell about like a tape pressing of that album because it's good. Not a huge artist, like if there's a chance. So I shot an email to them saying like, hey, are you interested in doing a pressing of this album on tape? And I wasn't expecting a response at all. I was expecting just like maybe a no, sorry, we're not interested, or I'm not interested, or just nothing. Like because people who are kind of popular, they get so many emails that they can't really see. And I had sent it to a couple of friends. Like I sent DJ Roswell an email, and they're all like, it's probably not going to happen. And then lo and behold, like maybe around a week later, I get an email back saying, yeah, sure, I would love to do this. So I sent a screenshot of it to like everyone that I knew. Like, guess what? Guess what?
Totally, that's awesome.
1 in 50 chance, and I got that 1% chance. And but yeah, a lot of my friends were saying it's possible, but it's like a very low chance probability. And then of course it happened, and now that's happening. I think March 6th. That's like right after the live show.
Yeah. Okay, so when you say you have a record label, and then you're going to produce or do a tape, I guess I just don't know. I can't picture what this is. So someone's going to send you their stuff.
Usually what
how does this all go down?
Like what happens is that either an artist will contact you or you'll contact an artist. So this would never happen because this is just for example. Like let's say that Radiohead released when Radiohead released The King of Limbs, there was no vinyl, there was no CD, there was no cassette, or they had released that album on physical form, but it's sold out and they're like really expensive now. You could contact them and say, hey, would you be interested in doing a repress of your album?
Oh, okay.
And if they say yeah, then what you do is you just kind of repress the album on vinyl so it's available for people to buy again.
So how? But I guess I don't mean, how do you repress another album on vinyl? Like, do you have machinery at your house? I don't know.
You can use like websites. The one that I use is duplication.ca. It's like this company who does that's what they focus on is they do vinyl pressing.
Oh, so you send the files.
I send the files and
then they do
artwork,
it,
and then
they send it. Okay, kind of like how I have a print-on-demand shop, like you can get T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I put the image up, and then whenever someone buys it, they just print it right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We kind of what you do with this though is that you do a pre-order for the tape, and then once the tape either gets enough money or there's enough pre-orders,
then they print it.
Then what you do is you send you buy the amount of tapes.
Oh,
and then they're manufactured them and send them to you.
So kind of like a book publishing deal.
Kind of.
Okay.
And then I have to ship them out myself after buying them from the company. I ship them out to each individual person who bought a tape.
Oh, cool.
So
so you're going to do that after the live show. You're gonna get that ball rolling.
Yeah, I had to. That's like the second project. So I had the live show coming up, and then after that, I have that going on. And
have you ever done that before?
I haven't done it before.
Wow.
It's my first time. And, luckily, I have a friend who does own a label that's pretty not really popular, but it's up there in popular labels. Popular
and what's
underground
that label?
Mallcat. And my friend made this label, and back in I think 2021 is when she started releasing stuff on it.
Yeah.
And the first album was actually an EP of mine.
Oh, cool.
And that was the first thing that was ever released on the label. It's not up there. It's not up on there anymore because it was kind of just there to get like a layout for the label, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And now the label has like artists who are really popular in the electronic music scene. Like for
Cool.
example, this artist called Nano Ray, who makes kind of what's called nowadays is breakcore, but makes
Why did you use quotes?
because it's like people call it breakcore, and it's really just jungle music. Like
Oh,
drum and
okay,
bass.
just a new name
Yeah,
for
it's
it.
a new name.
Got it.
But there is definitely like a subgenre for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that was the album that was that really kicked off the label because so many people bought that because it was a vinyl pressing, and so many people bought that. And yeah, that was kind of
Cool.
that kind of kicked off her label. And
Yeah.
Now I'm like, well, better start my own label.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing, like with, I don't know about record labels, but I just decided I'm going to start my own publishing company because we have 4 or 5 books. And so I just said, I have a publishing company now. So whoever has an idea, like come to me and I'll help you get it published. And I have no idea what I'm doing. I just know what I've done. And yeah, I'm super excited to see.
Like what I've been doing is working. So
yeah,
keep doing this.
I was going to say, I know you guys are going back soon to Snohomish. We should point that out that you don't live in Concrete.
No, I don't live in Concrete. Well, my dad.
Eventually,
does.
maybe.
My dad basically does because he's at our house like not very often.
Yeah.
But recently he is coming down back down to our house like every Tuesday, and then.
I mean, once he gets more, I don't want to say concrete, but more staff that's consistent.
Yeah.
It's definitely noticeable. It's easier for him to get out. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I keep telling them, offer me more money and I'll quit my job. Do you mind playing anything from like, it could be something that you're going to play at your show, or it could be something on the fly, or...
I can play the song that I was talking about that I figured out just from listening.
Yeah.
I'll play like the riff of that song. But yeah, that's one of the one I'm going to play live there. And another thing I'm very nervous about is I have to do vocals. And I do vocals on my songs, but super insecure about singing in real life.
Yeah.
Like whenever someone's playing a song on the radio and I start singing to it, whenever someone notices me singing, I'll start singing in like a goofy voice. Because I'm like, I don't want to, like, I'm not being serious about this. I'm being silly.
But you're going to sing at the Hub.
I'm going to sing there. And
okay.
Like, that's what I'm really nervous about because I'm just like, it's kind of like how I'm also insecure about like my artwork. That's why I've never posted any of my art on because it's all kind of like, I'll draw something and be like, this looks really good. And then I'll like, okay, maybe I'll post this later. And then later I'll come back and be like, I don't want to post this anymore. I'm going to embarrass myself.
Well, I mean, that just shows how much this means to you, right? If you didn't care about it, you would just sing no matter what, post your art no matter what. But there's also something to be said about you're doing it. And well, I mean, if anyone else is commenting, let's say negatively on what you're doing, the only people that are commenting negatively on what you're doing are people who are doing less.
Yeah, exactly.
No one who's doing more than you is going to make fun of you. They'll be like, okay, now do more. Yeah. Like there's this really great author named Stephen Pressfield. He has this amazing book called The War of Art, and he talks about resistance, like the force that stops us from being creative and being who we are. And he has this whole story about how he wrote that book, The Legend of Bagger Vance, which is now an amazing movie. But that took him like decades to write. And he was saying when he finally finished it, like the last stroke, the end on the typewriter, he went over to his friend and he's like, that's it. I did it. And his friend goes, whatever, start the next one. Like, that's what people who are successful, like, do. You just, like, churn them out.
Yeah.
I was joking with your dad about how there's no bad ideas. You just keep churning them out, and eventually one's going to be really good.
That's what like, that's kind of how I am with, like, releasing music under different projects. I'm like, well, I've been releasing music under Rybbon for a while, and nothing's really blowing up. Maybe I'll release me under a different name, and that one's just going to get popular out of nowhere, and then I'll just move to that name. So,
but I want to say too, like I think the more you sing, or the more you put your art out, the easier it gets for sure. Yeah.
Another thing that I do a lot is I'll want to experiment with different genres, and I'll end up being like, okay, I'm gonna make an album that's all noise music. So it's like there's no beats, there's no like instruments. It's all just a ton of sound, just like mashed together. And I'm like, I want to experiment with this, and I'll make something that I'm like, this is actually really cool. And I don't want to release it under Rybbon because I'm like, it doesn't fit, and I want to release it like right now. I don't
Yeah.
want to have to set a release date for something that I made in like an hour.
Yeah.
So I'll just make a new name and release it under that, and then just be like, hey guys, I made this little project here. Go check it out. It's a different name. Because I feel like it's just more organized. In my opinion, it's more organized in that sense. Because it's like if you're listening to someone who makes a ton of like someone who experiments with a ton of different genres, and they've made multiple different albums experimenting with genres, and they're all put in one place.
Yeah.
It's hard to like listen to every single album and be like, because I kind of want to have like a flow, like a flow going to where it's like each album has like the same kind of sound, but it's like also different.
Yeah.
And people always like how Radiohead was. They started off like with rock, and then they went to like Kid A, which is all like experimental and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I'm like. I'll do that. But what I won't do is make something that's completely out of my comfort zone that I made in like an hour, and then just release that, and then go back to what I was doing before.
Mm-hmm.
What I would want to do is I would want to try something, release an album trying that thing, and then eventually for each other album I make, incorporate that into it as well. So like my first album was all loops and just stuff I made on my computer.
Right.
Second album was worse than the first one, and I deleted it off the Spotify. Deleted it off it's archived on my computer, but there was a joke going around, like not going around, a joke that I was making where I talked about how it's my worst album, and it was called Full Screen, and I made it. The only reason I made it is because I wanted to have an album where each track transitioned perfectly to the next. Mm-hmm. And the whole album was made in about under 30 minutes. So It was very, very rough. Yeah. But then the album after that was also rushed like crazy. But there was one song on there, which was the song You Don't Ever Listen, that I made off of my album Trash, and the whole album is technically trash. But
is it just your dad on loop saying You Don't Ever Listen just over and over again?
It almost was.
Was he the basis of it?
No, I was with the song names. I'll kind of make something, and then I'll just kind of be like, all right, random word generator, let's go, and just do that. But for that song was the first song where I ever actually used vocals. Okay. And they were buried in the mix, like you could barely hear them.
Oh,
and, so that's why.
Because you were nervous.
Yeah, I was nervous, and then eventually for my After Images EP. I was like, all right, I want to make my vocals like known. I want people to hear it, and I did, and that ended up getting pretty good reception from what I saw. There was a music video for it, and I put that in quotations because it was a lyric video. Mm-hmm. But I still called it a music video because I was like, I want it to look cool. I don't want it to be a lyric video, a lame lyric video. I need to be a music video. Yeah. But that I released that, and that one had, I think, After Image had lyrics in it. The song Rotoscope had lyrics in it, but they were kind of just the same thing, and they were really high pitch. And then I would like change them. And then Sleepwalker had lyrics in it, and all three of those songs, the lyrics were just like, I didn't write them down. I didn't write anything. I just kind of started the song and just sang. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have any script or anything. Yeah. Hey, Charlie. All right, well, I will sell something to Charlie, and then we'll do your song, okay? All right, so what's the name of this song? The song is by the artist Sex, but it's spelled C-E-X. I always did say that. Because, that's okay. I make this with, not the warning, what's that word that starts with an E? Explicit content. Okay, yeah. I always put that just in case, but there's barely any swear words on this podcast. All right, and you're going to play this on March 3rd at the Hub. Yep. And this is just the main riff that I have. But you're gonna sing. I'm gonna sing it. Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna sing right here. But, no, sing here. I'm not gonna look. I'll go on the next. I'm just very nervous about that. But you're gonna be singing in front of everybody. I don't know all the lyrics. That's the problem. Make them up. I won't know. Make them up. Here, I'll go on my phone. I'll pretend like I'm not even listening. I'm gonna play the guitar line because with the vocals and stuff. I like to be able to re-listen to them and be like, okay, this sounds good. That's why it took me 4 tries to get a lot of my songs with vocals. Okay, then I don't want you to play that song. I want you to play a song where you sing. Have you not met me before? I push people out of their comfort zone. People have run ultra marathons because I have told them to. Come on. I just you could do a Radiohead cover. I wish I knew how to play a Radiohead song. The only one I know I can do off the top of my head right now is this one. And I barely even know the lyrics to it, but I kind of like at the same time. I feel like if I were to like, a lot of the songs I'm playing live is only like this one and there's another one that has lyrics in it. The rest is kind of just instrumental stuff. Because of course I'm nervous about singing vocals and stuff. So yeah, the only like. I just don't sing vocals because I'm like, I know that I'm going to have a voice crack in there. It's going to happen. I'm going to listen back at it. I'm going to listen back and be like, oh my God, I sounded like shit. Like,
But you have to understand, I started this podcast out of nowhere. I have no idea what I'm doing. I almost didn't release the first episode because I said like 17,000 times. So if I can do it, you can do it. All right, go.
You should play the riff. I can't say. I'm not warmed up. I gotta warm up, and I can't.
All right, okay.
But
next time you're on the podcast.
Next time I'll sing. Next time
You'll be prepared.
I'll be prepared. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be ready.
When Dubs 101 is here with us.
Oh yeah. He'll definitely sing something. He'll sing like.
He'll drown you out.
He'll sing for me. I'll play the instrument.
What's his name? Noah?
Yeah, Noah.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So this is what it is. I gotta remember if I'm doing it right because.
Even if you do it wrong, I won't know.
Okay. That's what all it is the whole time. The whole song's like that, basically.
But
I'm horrible at like if it's something complex, kind of like that. When I'm trying to sing, I'm gonna end up going like singing. I'll be like, I'll mess up because I had to kind of like multitask, and that's why I have the looping pedal, the looper pedal for when I'm there, so I can just record it real quick, and then I can put the guitar down and I can focus on singing over it and not having to play the.
So you're going to record and then like you're going to do all that while you're there live?
Yeah, like while I'm in there,
you'll record something.
I'll record like a loop, and then it will just keep playing over and over again, and then I can record over that. I can play the drums over it. I can sing over it while it's still playing. So
wait, you're going to play the drums. Yeah. You're going to play the guitar.
Drums, guitar, keyboard, and probably like DJ a little bit of stuff too.
You're going to do all of that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh my gosh.
Since I was like. My dad was like, what do you need to play? And I was like, I would be nice if I had a looper pedal because then I could play like 5 different instruments at once.
Yeah.
And then he was like, all right. And then I get here to Concrete, and I walk upstairs, and he's like, go look on the chair in that room. And lo and behold, there's a looper pedal on the chair.
That's awesome.
So I opened that up, and I started messing around with it, and I figured out how to use it. So
cool.
I'm good. I got that.
Wow, that's exciting. But, I didn't know you were going to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very, very inspired by this one artist I listen to. Their name is Girlfriends, and not to be confused because there's 2 different bands or artists with that name. One of them's a pop punk band, and I've listened to it before. Not good. The other one's this indie rock, kind of math rock artist.
Okay.
And,
math rock.
Yeah. It's not,
I love all these new terms I'm learning.
Math rock is basically like rock music, but with really weird time signatures and really weird just like the melodies and stuff are really like interesting. Kind of like how 15 step is. It's like in 5/4. That's kind of what math rock is. Like the guitar loops always sound like we're all all over the place. But so what he does in his live shows is that he'll play like a loop on the guitar and then loop that and then play over that again and like kind of have like a melody going with the guitars and then just set on the guitar, get on the drum set, and just start playing over all of it.
Wow.
So that's kind of what I'm going to do over there is play something. Some stuff is original, so I'll just kind of like loop. I'm actually playing one of his songs live.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's the easiest one off the album. And the sad part is that this artist has only released one album back in 2009, and there has been 0 announcements for anything new. There were 0 releases after that, just one album.
Why haven't they done anything?
I don't know, because their music is amazing. Like the album, it's one of my favorite albums of all time.
Well, you have good luck with that. Email them and say, hey, what's up? Maybe they're under a different name and you just don't know. Yeah. You never know. Actually, my friend who say, hey, come out to the Hub with me, all right?
The funny thing is, I'm pretty sure they live in Washington.
Really?
Or it's either Washington or Oregon.
Oh.
Too.
All right, we'll get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
That's cool.
My friend who owns the label that I was talking about earlier actually emailed that artist asking for a possible vinyl repress, and they never got back to her. So.
But you have better luck though.
Yeah, I'll just try and then
be like, this is Colin, you know.
Okay, you may have gotten an email from someone else earlier, but it's me. I'm here now. But yeah, so that was like that's kind of what I'm doing, is just playing a loop, getting up, and then going on the drums or like the keyboard, and then playing along to that.
Yeah.
And
cool.
making my own stuff it's basically I'm making the song on stage.
Yeah.
Like it's like kind of like watching like someone make a song. Like when you watch those videos where someone's like grabbing a random record and then sampling it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what's happening up there, but instead of it just being random, I know what I'm playing.
You have a plan.
Yeah, I have a plan.
Oh, cool.
Instead of just like making something up.
Wow, that's awesome.
But yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh, this will be really fun. Okay, so March 3rd at the Hub in Concrete. I love when people ask me, I don't know about you, but they go, but where in Concrete? I'm like, just go to Main Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the address? It doesn't. Just come.
You'll find it.
Just yell, Jeremy, or
the
Liz.
The loud music and flashing lights, maybe.
Are we gonna have like a big light show too?
I don't think we're gonna have
glow
any
sticks.
Lights. Maybe glow sticks. I'm gonna ask for that. We do. I might try to get like some of those little like disco lights that kind of go around.
Yeah.
I want to have some kind of. I want to have some sort of light show going.
Your mom brought a disco ball.
Yeah, she did.
I saw her. Okay, yeah.
So she's probably gonna hang that up.
Olive has this cool projector that just lights up the whole room, like Northern Lights. Really?
Yeah, she got this. She got like from the thrift store. It was like $8.
Oh no, that's like a movie projector.
Yeah.
This is like it just sits on like the ground and it just lights up the whole room.
Oh yeah,
it looks like the Northern Lights.
Yeah, my sister used to have one of those. She gave it to me and she gave it to one of her friends.
It's crazy. I can't imagine that with a disco ball. Have you been to an actual like big rave event?
I have
Is that
been
something
to
you
events
want to
with.
do?
I have been to events with big like lights and stuff. One of the most memorable ones was probably 100 Gex, which is this like kind of what they call it hyper pop.
And where was that?
That was at the Showbox
in Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah, and the light show they had there, they had like these two like really comically large speakers that were like they weren't the actual speakers they were using. They were there for like decoration. They were like the ones that were like slanted and they would like bounce when the music played, like kind of like a cartoon.
Cool. Yeah.
And there was like just lights like, going all over the place. And then another show that I went to with crazy lights was probably JPEG Mafia, who's a rapper. And there was like...
Where was that?
That was at Neptune Theater.
Oh, okay.
And what happened was he was on stage and there was like a beam. Like there was like a beam of light like that.
Yeah.
And there was like 20 of them like around
Wow.
him. And they would all like go up and down or something like that. And then when we saw Tom York, the Smile, when they played live, they had like the same kind of thing, but instead of them being up and down, they were slanted the other way.
Oh,
and they were kind of like, it looked like kind of like the Northern Lights was behind them.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
If you could go to like any kind of big outdoor like EDM festival, which one would you go to? What's like a big one?
Not really EDM, but I would want to go to Coachella.
Oh, okay.
Because I was looking at the lineup for that, and one of the artists that really caught my attention was Jai Paul, who had released like one album, and it wasn't even released by him. It was leaked onto the internet, and it was the only thing that at the time it was the only thing that ever been released. And then the dude just went silent for like a long time, and then released like 2 new tracks. Like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, just decided to play at Coachella, and
cool.
I saw that, and just like everyone else who saw it, had a panic attack and was like, oh my god, Jai Paul! And like, yeah,
that's
everyone
awesome.
Everyone was like shocked by that because like the dude had been silent for so long before.
See, we didn't even get into concerts because you guys have been to what, like 100 concerts,
yeah,
and you're 16.
Yeah,
your dad showed me a picture of you guys at Kiss.
Oh yeah,
and you were all painted. Your faces were all painted.
Mine wasn't. But,
oh, yours wasn't. Okay.
Yeah. My sister's was. My mom's was. I don't think my dad painted his face.
Oh, okay.
But my sister's was like full paint. But
your sister's so cool.
Yeah. My favorite concert I've ever been to had to have been there's another rap concert. It was Injury Reserve.
Okay.
Because during the concert they had a smoke machine and there was so much smoke the fire alarm went off. And everyone had to evacuate. And this was at Numos, so this was down there.
Oh yeah. I've been there. Yeah.
And everyone evacuated. And the best part was that I was in the back, when I first got there,
Mhm.
and then when we had to evacuate. Also, that was my first concert where I ever jumped into a mosh pit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I think at the time I was 14 or 15. So
Okay.
just little me
Yeah.
was in there going like, but we had to all evacuate, and everyone was going out and like kind of down the street. Me and my dad just walked out and just went to the like right next to the doors.
Nice.
And when they started letting people back in, we were like the third people in
Oh,
the
that's
venue.
sweet.
So we were right there in front, and
Yeah.
I was pushed up against the stage, and I was like leaning over like the speaker, and I was
Yeah.
right there, and that was probably my favorite because you can't really, not every time you go to a concert you can say that the fire alarm went off and everyone had to evacuate the building.
Yeah.
The thing that sucked though is that they had these really bright strobe lights, and that's why the fog machine was there to kind of like drown them out.
Oh.
And since I was right in front and the fog machines weren't on anymore, it was blinding me.
So normally people hurt their ears at concerts.
Yeah.
You hurt your ears, also your eyes.
But yeah, that one was really crazy.
Cool.
And then I had the whole, I brought my Nintendo 3DS to the 100 Gex concert, and while I was there, I was holding it up and recording, and
cool.
People saw it and took photos of it, and it was all over the the kind of like there's like subreddits and like pages, forums about the band.
With your 3DS.
Yeah, all over my hand, just up in the air holding the 3DS. And,
that's awesome.
if you go onto my Instagram page and go to the photos I'm tagged in, there's one photo where if you swipe to the very right, it's a photo of my DS and I'm tagged. Like the DS is tagged with my name on it.
That's awesome.
But but yeah, that was probably the craziest thing that happened after a concert. Because I brought it. I didn't think anything of it because I'm like, oh, it's funny. I brought my DS with me. It's no big deal because it's just kind of like goofy. Yeah. It's something that's just silly. And then I did it. People noticed it. It was all over. And then people were asking, and no one knew it was me. And I didn't have any proof that it was me because I didn't take photos of me holding my DS at the concert. Yeah. So what I did was I just uploaded the footage that I took on the DS to YouTube. I was like, here's proof it's me. Here's the video that I recorded there. And that video. Also,
why would someone just make it up and say
that was me? Yeah, I was there with the DS.
Nothing else is going on in your life. You have to lie about a photo.
But I uploaded the video to YouTube, and it got like 4,000 views, and a bunch of people commented. There was this one like verified YouTuber who commented who must have seen it on like a live stream or something because someone requested it. Yeah. And that video got like some person DM'd me on Instagram asking if they could sample it in one of their own songs. And I was like, cool. Sure. And I wish I knew what they did with it. Yeah, send me the link, right? I mean, like, the thing is that they never sent me a link of what they did with it. I don't even know if they even sampled it at all.
They probably didn't. I would think that they would show you what they did.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that they just probably forgot to, or they were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for letting me sample this, and they just never got to the song. Yeah. But yeah, there was like that was kind of like my 5 seconds of fame moment right there. I was like, yep, I was the guy with the 3DS at the 100 Gex concert.
Well, I will say that I'm pretty sure your 5 seconds of fame is going to be replaced after your show at the Hub. I mean,
it was just recently. I uploaded a video to TikTok, just some stupid thing I made. I was doing like an impression of this one lady who walks into people's houses and just screams, and I did an impression, and the video got like first week it got like 100 likes. I was like, well, that's pretty popular for me. And then all of a sudden, it's at 14K now. So like 80K views, 14K likes, and I was like, I don't know how it happened. It just kind of like the algorithm just kind of pushed my video out there, and it got really popular.
You hit the sweet spot, yeah. Well, I think after your show, it's going to be even crazier. Yeah. I mean, not many 16-year-olds can say that they played in a bar.
And I have a ton of friends in person and online who all make music and kind of like in the same electronic field, and I'm the only one so far that can say I have been on a podcast. So.
Oh, there you go! Look at that.
I hope. I might be completely wrong. I think one of the people in that kind of group was on a radio show at some point. I don't know the technical.
What's the radio?
Like, what's the radio? What's the radio?
One of my friends actually, he was talking about how he doesn't listen to Spotify, and I said, wait, but how do you listen to music? He uses YouTube. Oh. But I'm like, but how, when you drive though, I put the radio on. What radio station do you listen to? I guess, anyway, there's one in Mount Vernon that a lot of people listen to. I had no idea. So, anyway, I prefer this.
But yeah, like
Spotify's way better, I think.
I think there's been times when I have said, like, I want to make a podcast, and then I never get to it. So I'll be, all right, let's record a first episode, and then we'll start recording, and it will just, like, end up being us on Google, like laughing at like just completely silent, and then every once in a while we'll be like watching videos, everyone's silent, and then just some laughing. It started off with like welcome to the podcast. 2 minutes later, we're just completely silent doing our own thing. Yeah, this isn't gonna work.
Well, you don't know until you start it, right?
Yeah.
I think on the way home, I wonder if your mom will put on episode 2 of mine is me and Kevin sitting upstairs reading trivia questions to each other and just laughing the whole time. It was so stupid. All I wanted to do was just talk about the trivia night that I'm doing this summer on Wednesdays. And so I said, let's do a trivia episode. And I didn't think anything of it. And I mean, I know I'll do a whole bunch and I'll like them, but I think that's going to be my favorite. It was probably half an hour and we just laughed the whole time. And your dad came in at the end and we talked about Detroit. And yeah, it was great. My other thing I'm doing too is I'm doing ads for the liquor store in the Hub.
Oh, nice.
And I'm not clearing it with your dad, but I'm going to send him several invoices. So that's how I'm going to make money off this podcast. So come to the liquor store. You can buy some awesome alcohol, and we have beer and wine, non-alcoholic stuff. Yeah, we have Fago.
Yeah. That's
really sought after in the valley. We also have 2 cats here. And you might run into Colin too when you're here. He likes to skateboard in the back.
Yeah, I like to fall and like break my collarbone.
I was really worried about you. That was allowed.
I was back there trying to do a trick, and I just fall.
Well, there's also several bottles back there, so I was a little concerned about the bottles too.
I was like, what ledge would not fall over if I fell? And I chose the right one.
All right. Well, I think your mom's putting the dogs in the car. So any last words?
Listen to my music, I guess.
Come to my show. Come to my show. There's no cover.
Don't watch 1 minute into the Dubs in One Space music video.
I'm going to link the video below. Make sure you guys go into it and stop on the part with Colin's short hair. All right. Thanks, Colin.
Welcome.